We are still looking at the prayer that the Apostle Paul prayed for the people in the church in the city of Philippi. It's a prayer that became a wish or a prayer for all of us as well as for them. In the last devotion we did, we looked at the phrase, "And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more." I want to continue looking at that prayer. The entire prayer is found in Philippians 1, 9 through 11, and it says, "And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best and may be pure and blameless until the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God." Paul said this is my prayer. Not only that your love would abound more and more, but that it would abound in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best. So one of the things Paul prayed for you and I is that we would grow in knowledge and depth of insight. All of us should pray for this in our lives. The word for knowledge is epignosis. It refers to a knowledge of a particular subject, or perception, or even intuition. Paul is talking about our need to grow in spiritual knowledge, or spiritual perception, or spiritual intuition. He wants us to be able to discern what is right and what is best. He wants us to be able to recognize truth and error when we see it or hear it. We live in a time when there are so many errors and false teachings being spread around. Paul wanted us to be mature enough in our faith that we could distinguish between truth and falsehood when we hear it or read it. Every day we are confronted with heresies and dilutions of the Christian faith. One of the keys to staying true to our faith is finding out what people say about Jesus Christ. Any teaching that makes Jesus anything less than the one and the only begotten Son of the Father is a teaching that we need to reject. Jesus is not merely a good teacher or a good man. He is God-man. In a political climate of acceptance, we want to be sweet and we want to be kind and let everybody believe what they want to believe. Now, don't get me wrong. I would fight for a person's right to believe anything they want to believe. However, being tolerant and allowing people the freedom to choose what they want to believe does not mean that I have to tolerate my own faith being watered down into something that it is not. The one dividing issue of all of human history centers around the identity of Jesus Christ. He claimed to be the Son of God, not one of the sons of God. He claimed to be equal to God. He claimed that if you had seen him, you had seen the Father. He claimed that no man could come to God except through him. Now, Jesus is either who he says he is or he is a false teacher. If Jesus is who he says he is, and we believe he is, then we are to worship him and him alone. All teachings must be filtered through this filter. Who is Jesus? Ask any visitor who knocks on your door or any person who is discussing religion with you this simple question: who exactly do you believe Jesus Christ is? Is he the one and only Son of God? Our knowledge should also grow where we can learn to discern love, hate, anger, bitterness, etc. The Bible tells us that whatever is not of love is not of God. Paul wanted us to grow in our ability to discern spirit. I join Paul today in praying that each of us will grow in our spiritual knowledge. There are no shortcuts, guys. It takes time to study the Bible and to pray. Make a new commitment today to get to know God's Word. Here's a thought for the day. I want to hide God's word in my heart. Here's a prayer for today. God, help me to expand my knowledge of who you are and of what you say. God bless you as you grow in knowledge.